How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the Ed Show. My name is Nate, the owner of Colorado Custom Leather and Blades, and your host. So we are picking up on the Rust series. We did episodes before this one, talking about what rust is and how to remove it in the field, or the different little methods that you can use to remove rust, which are pretty handy to know and use. Now we're moving into how you can protect your blade from rust, at least a little bit or completely. So we're going to go down and do some experience. This episode we're going to be talking about using Flitz. This is something that I use on all my knives now. I've moved away from WD-40 definitely because that's toxic when it comes to doing chef knives for people and stuff. And I moved to baby oil, and baby oil does good. We're going to test that out as well. But Flitz is honestly probably the best I've found so far, and you guys can in the comments let me know what you guys use. But it's non-toxic and it does really well. Now I'm going to show you the blade here real quick. This is our experiment knife, as you've seen if you watch the other episodes. And if you haven't, please like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned to this because I'm excited for the future going forward. We're going to talk about sheaths, what makes sense for the different seasons. Is there a difference? Is it by user preference? We're just going to experiment all kinds of things. But this is our experiment blade. This is the side that I flitzed, and this is the side that's not flitzed. You can see rust on both sides, and I actually kind of predicted, I mean, not really predict, but I kind of expected that because of the reality of what I did. But real quick, let me just do the intro. If you're someone like me that appreciates high quality steel blades, uses them on the daily, lives by them, or also like me makes them, this is the show for you. Now, we're going to be focusing more on high carbon steel blades, not stainless steel. I've done other videos you can check out on stainless steel. Not a fan of it. I make all my knives out of high carbon. I'll do a special order of stainless steel, but for the most part, I use high carbon steel. And there is ways you can protect your blade. Now, I will say this before we jump in. Protecting your blade is a two-part solution. Okay, it's having the right sheath, having a quality sheath, more not really the right sheath, but a quality sheath, and having a base layer of protection on it. And we're going to go through the different ways you can protect your blade. So the video clips you're going to see here in a second are me putting the blade outside and explaining what I'm doing there. And there's actually a 10-day span of time. Okay, I left it out there for 10 days until today, the day I'm recording this, obviously. And I said 5 originally in the video, but I did 10. The reason why is because of the influx of temperature and the rain, the snow, the sleet, and warm temperature here in Utah as I'm traveling here with my wife as she's on contract. And I just thought it would make more sense to really just give it some time to see if rust will build up. And, well, it did. And you're going to see another clip here. I'm doing a close-up so it'll make more sense of what I'm talking about versus me just trying to show you guys from a distance. So with that being said, let's go ahead and show. All right, also it is Tuesday right now, and a snowstorm's coming in. Actually, there's going to be a few, and we're going to continue the series as you saw earlier. So this is the side that I flitzed. This is the side that I didn't. We're going to see how bad rust happens on either side. But this is the side that I flitzed. I'm very confident in Flitz. It's what I started to use for a lot of my blades now. But this is just one of the methods that you can use to protect your blade. So we're going to set it here in the snow. And what we'll do is we'll flip it around. We're just going to leave it out here until about Friday night. That doesn't mean anything to the viewer, but go ahead and bury it nice. So we have colder temperatures, warmer temperatures, colder temperatures, so that should produce rust, and we'll see. I did do both of the edges, so we'll see if it's protected. Okay, also it's been over a week that we've let the knife sit out here in the elements. I know I was going to just do that Friday, but I was like, you know what, why not just a little bit more time? So let's see what we got here. That's not the Flitz side. That is the Flitz side. Interesting, so let's go talk about it. Now real quick here, I want to just show you the knife up close before we start talking in the video so you can get a better look. So this is the side that was not flitzed. That's to be expected. This is the side that was flitzed. And you can kind of see there's more spotting than anything, but there are some smoother and cleaner areas. So Flitz did pretty good for 10 days. Now let's talk about it. All right, so you guys are back. This is a fun experiment. Me as a knife maker, it's important to know these things so I can, one, help educate customers, including myself. Like, I mean, having a quality knife in the field, especially, and being able to protect that blade so it'll be a working tool is awesome to know. But if you get rust spots like we did in the earlier parts of the series, how to remove that in the field. But if you can, avoid it entirely, that's also what you want. So this side is the side with Flitz. This is the side that's not. And I did a very light layer. This is the Flitz that I was using, and I did the edges, and there's rust spots everywhere. Now, here is my theory on why you see the difference here, okay? This had no Flitz, and it's literally just everywhere. The camera doesn't do justice picking this up. But this side is kind of spotted. And here's my theory as to why. When you saw me drop this in the snow and packed it over it with the flip side up first, there was no leaves or anything. So when I went to flip it, I made sure that there was leaves on top of this when I flipped it, and I also put leaves on top of the other side, and then I packed it down with snow before it melted. And with the different temperature changes and the rain to the warmer day to snow to sleet to warmer day again, it was all over the place. So it produced this. Now, what I think this is, the steel was laying directly on a piece of leaf or grass or something like that. So it was in direct contact with something that had water on it. And with the temperature change and all that stuff, we got rust spots. But you can also see that it's very smooth in some areas. It's not entirely like this, where it is just riddled all up and down it. So what that tells me is, one, if you drop your blade out in the wilderness and it has Flitz on it, you're probably going to get some rust spots if you don't get it within, a day or so. Maybe not a day or so, but if you lose it and you're looking for it because it's your favorite knife in the world and you're looking for it for a week and you find it, you're probably going to have some rust spots. That's just, but hey, you found your blade, right? But if you just drop it there for a few hours or a day or so, I'm pretty sure you're going to be good versus having nothing on there. Rust can produce fairly fast, like within hours. But if you have a protective layer over it, it should help. So with that being said, guys, and ending here, I'm going to Flitz one of my recent Saks knives. I'm giving away to a friend of mine to help raffle to raise money for their missions trip. And I'm going to just show you how easy it is to use Flitz. Number one, make sure your blade is entirely cleaned off. Soap and water, and then dry it off to where there's nothing on it. Make sure there's no oils. You can acetone it first and then do soap and water, Dawn dish soap, that stuff. And it's really easy to do. I'm just going to give you the basics of how this works. Make sure your rag is clear of any sharp objects, because that would really suck if you put a scratch in your knife. So I'm going to use this side, which is kind of a flatter side, to apply the Flitz. And you don't want to put it directly on the blade. Okay, you want to use a decent amount. Okay, that was probably a little bit too much, but that's okay. We'll just kind of fold it into itself. Okay, so you can see even on camera that that's what I'm going for here. And what you do is you take your blade and just kind of smear it on there. It's not going to hurt wood. It's not really going to help the wood, but it's not going to hurt it either. I'll show you what I use for wood here in a second. You can see I have, you really can't see it, you can a little bit, but there is a nice little layer of Flitz on there now, and I'm just going to kind of lightly start buffing it in, do the edge, do the spine, and I would go over and do the other side. I'm just showing you the basics here. Okay, you can see it there, it has some streaks. Go to your softer side, and again, make sure there's nothing sharp on there. And you're just going to circular motion, buff it into the steel. And you can do, I usually do 2 coats, sometimes 3. And you just give it a nice cleaning, run up and down that edge. Be careful not to cut yourself. I'm not liable if you do. And there you have it. So that's now flitzed. And I'll probably do another coat, as I said. take your time on it. There's no rush. Make sure you cover everything that you don't want to have not protected. I don't know if that made sense, but anyways, going forward, guys, as I said, we're going to probably throw this guy into a sheath, okay, for the next episode here, and throw it back in the elements and see if there's a difference. Because again, protecting your knives from rust is a two-part thing: a quality sheath and a base layer of protection on it. So, all right, guys, God bless. We'll see you next time.